computer. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Jennifer Britton. Thanks for joining us for another community call. Here at Potentials Realized, our mandate is to support group and team coaches to do their best work. And we know that many of you are always looking to add a new layer of learning on. So we have resumed our community calls 3 out of 4 weeks out of every month. We're here on Tuesdays from 12 to 12:30 Eastern. And we dive into a different topic. So this week we're on the rotation of Reconnecting Workspaces. And if you're not aware of Reconnecting Workspaces, that was my 2021 book, all about the evolution in today's flex workspace. So whether you're working with clients who are back in person, hybrid, still remote, and always going to be remote, or other, I think you're going to find today's call of interest. Now, I'm here today. We've got Kathy Vaughn, our team lead for team coaching. We've also got Rita, who is our team lead for Reconnecting Workspaces. And I wanted to connect the dots. So I really wanted to get today into the topic of our superpowers. So if you've been following along, just a bit of a backstory. In 2021, the summer of 2021, I launched the Hybrid Work Styles quiz. And like the people you see on the screen, the intent of that quiz was to get coaches, leaders, even team members thinking more about who they were and what their natural style of working was in the hybrid workspace. So for the last year, I've been able to work with a variety of organizations. They've used the Hybrid Work Styles quiz to start and spark the conversation across differences on teams. We're really excited to be sharing with you. We've got a new evolution of our Coaching the Hybrid Work Styles program that's now called Coaching Diverse Teams using the Hybrid Work Styles, based on a real life practical experience of teams who are finding great benefit with this framework. Again, with teams, people are coming at it like the folks on the screen, all different vantage points. We have different styles, different ways of communicating, and to really create that alignment, it's so critical that we help teams bridge their differences. So you might notice I've termed today's call Bridging the Team and Group Coaching Superpowers with Work Styles. So 2021, up until earlier this year, a big part of our focus here at Potentials Realized was helping organizations transition into this hybrid workspace. And I wouldn't say that that's ended by any means. In fact, next week, I'm going to be with almost 500 professionals in a global organization doing 3 sets of dialogue around what does it mean to be evolving as a workspace in today's environment. So our clients are one part of the equation. And what I've learned, having trained coaches now since 2006 through our ICF CCE approved programs, is that great group and team coaches have an expanded range. We talk a lot about range as coaches. That's our ability to stretch and use different tools, techniques, approaches. It's also our ability to calibrate and dial skills up and dial skills back according to the people that we're working with. So my guess is if you've been coaching for a while, even in a one-on-one, you're very aware of that ability or the need to really adjust your style, adjust your approach, adjust your questions. And that really led me, because we see it in group and team coaching on steroids. Once we have more than one person, once we're coaching many, we all of a sudden have different ways of participants in our room. So our participants are hearing things differently. They're engaging with our conversation differently. Some want to see the visuals, others want to hear the metaphors, yet others want to get up out of their chair and do things experientially or kinesthetically. And so really, that is what led me to the Team and Group Coaching Superpowers quiz and designing this over the last few months. So we've just launched. Today is all about how do you bridge these 2 areas? Because many of you have reached out to me since the Team and Group Coaching Superpower quiz with 2 questions. Number 1, how do I learn more? So today is a bit of a sneak peek into this, but if you are interested, here's where how do I learn more as a coach? How do I learn more so that I can expand my range really comes into play. Later this week on Friday, and that's Friday, October the 7th at 10:15 a.m., I'm going to be launching our inaugural 5-week Activating the Group and Team Coaching Program. And that's going to be a 5-week journey where we're going to look not only at our superpowers, but how do we really grow our skill base, our techniques in areas like coaching for creativity, coaching for change, coaching for just the real diversity that exists within teams. So today, that's where we're going. We're really looking at this bridge. There's so much happening in our world, and we just want to make sure that you know that these calls are on the go. So many of you these days are participating on demand. So they're all uploaded to YouTube at Effective Group Coach. Feel free to dig through. You'll see our weekly sort of cycle, reconnecting workspaces, team coaching, group coaching, and back. And I would say today's call is really touching on all of our main areas: group coaching, team coaching, the evolving workspace, and helping you build your skills as a coach. It's no surprise, here we are, 2022, 18 years after opening this business, and I'm still hearing coaches like I heard when I was a younger coach. How do I build a sustainable business? And part of this really is understanding what your unique superpowers are and how that can really match the needs in today's environment, whether you're working in organizations, for profit, not for profit, whether you're still working with groups or individuals. This is going to apply to all of those areas. And so as things evolve, we evolve as well. And so we're really pleased to announce that this fall, for the first time ever, we are now weaving together all of our course curriculum in a much more strategic pathway so that you can complete 70-hour and 125 hours of advanced training in group or team coaching. We continue to work with coaches that already have a baseline. You may already have your ACC or PCC, or you may have already completed your core coach training. We work with coaches to really now start thinking about what the coaching of many is going to look like. And this is where we've taken our long-standing programs like Group Coaching Essentials that I've led since 2006. We are now stitching those together in an actual pathway where you're going to get a certificate to say, I really have mastered these advanced skills. And for years, we've been offering the trifecta: Group Coaching Essentials, Team Coaching Essentials, and also the Advanced Practicum for about 32.75 hours of learning. That's a good start, but there's much more that coaches really need in order to thrive in the space of group and team coaching. And so stay tuned with this. We are continuing to offer our 5 and 6 week programs. And this fall, we're actually going to be offering our first intensive virtual training in a long time. Many of you may know that for, I don't know, almost 12 years probably, from let's see, 2009 to 2019. So 11 years. I used to offer a 3-day intensive program. I've done that here in Toronto, up north. I've taken it on the road. It's gone out to the west coast of Canada at UBC. And that in-person training in an intensive manner has always been something I still get emails from people who have participated. Loved the deep dive. And so we're bringing it back in a virtual space. And you'll notice you can download this over at our feeds. But throughout the month of November, you'll actually be able to build onto your Group Coaching Essentials training that you've probably already completed. And you can then go on and do this series, as you can see in the pathway. So feel free to reach out to us. We'd be happy to set up a call. This is going to be something that we're offering. Should the pilot go well this fall, it's something that we'll look to offer in the future. But this is a pilot. So if the pilot does not fill, we may not be offering this in the future. So if you're interested in really boosting your skills quickly, this is the way. So head on over to groupcoachingessentials.ca. You can see the pathway there. We also will have a downloadable sort of November profile, and we'll be adding those November dates to the website as well. So with that, training is one thing, but the next piece is, how do we show up in conversations? So to really bring you into the space, I really wanted to do a bit of where my superpower lies, which is as a creative tool master. And I know from many emails and some social posts, several of you are also creative tool masters, bringing things out of your back pockets that really spark dialogue and insight and perhaps action in different ways. So today I've called this call Bridging the Styles and the Superpowers, or Bridging the Superpowers and the Styles. So I want you to just take a moment and think about all these different bridges. I'm going to give you about 30 to 45 seconds of silence just to lean into these photos and think about which one of these speaks to you and your development as a coach. So many times we are the bridge amongst team members, certainly amongst group members that are coming together for shared interest. We may also be helping people bridge from insight to action, or from action to awareness, or from a deep focus on results to relationships. So I'm really sharing a lot of what you've heard me write about for years, but today we're putting it in this bridge. So I'd like to give you a minute to just deeply look at these photos, think about where you are right now as a coach, and what are you bridging? What is the bridge or bridges that really represent where you're at with your work with clients, and perhaps what is the stretch for you as a coach in service to your clients? So you might have two images, one where you are now, and then a second one of where you want to be. I'm going to set my timer for a minute. I'll invite you, as always, pick up that pen, because there's some magic that happens when we get ourselves activated in the writing space. And I'm going to give you a minute. Again, pick an image, possibly pick two, where you are now, where you want to be, and think about the bridges that you are creating in your work, and more importantly, in your work with clients. Timer starts now, and just enjoy this reflective pause for a minute. All right, that's a minute. You can, if you're listening to this and you need a bit more time, you can always pause, finish that thought. We've got Kathy, we've got Rita, and I'm just wondering if either one of you wants to unmute for a minute and just share what you chose, and maybe a word or two behind why you chose that and what was important for you.
I put mine in chat, but I can share.
Go for it. You know me in chat, right? My eyes are never that good.
Yeah.
So what did you put
So the current status one, I gravitated first to the top center. So I really thought about this from a foundational standpoint. Like that bridge doesn't have that great a foundation. So it still swings, but there's safety ropes you can hold on. And so, recognizing that it's a journey, right? And then, the ideal state would probably be the one to the left of it. Solid foundation, beautiful sunset, at peace with how things are.
Fantastic. Thanks for sharing that, Rita. I know we've got Kathy. I'll just give Kathy a sec if she wants to unmute, and if not, I'll share mine. So Kathy, what did you choose?
Yeah, so I chose, I thought more about the future than where I am now, right? Because I think where I am now, depending on which layer, we use that word a lot, I'm looking at, I could be either the top right, or I could be the one in the middle with the two shoes. But where I'm looking to go is the bottom left, which is towards the sky, and then to the bottom right, which is that holistic cycle.
Love that. I love that. Well, I'll share mine as well. And so I chose one right in the middle, which is actually the Gardner Expressway here in Toronto. Rita might recognize that. It's a very old highway that we have, and it splits, right? The on-ramps and off-ramps split, but then it runs for many kilometers together. And so I think that really represents, for me and my work as a coach and also a coach trainer and coach supervisor, these two distinct but related areas of group and team coaching. And, I think very much it's always about finding the bridges, finding those parallels, always interested in sort of looking at an organizational level as well, how organizations build coaching culture. And, do they start first with one-on-one coaching, or are they jumping right into team coaching and then doing group coaching? Coaching cultures are established not in a few months, but over many, many years. And in my work, I've had, the privilege of working with a handful of organizations around the world that have taken that journey over multiple years. And so it's always interesting for me to think about what's the on route and what's the off route, or what's the on ramp and the off ramp. So that's where I was thinking. I hope that it just gets you again thinking about bridging, because our clients are so diverse. And you may have come in and you may have taken the hybrid work styles quiz. These are some of the digital dozen that you've probably heard me talk about over at the Remote Pathways podcast. But the hybrid work styles quiz is a quick 2-minute quiz that anyone can take. There's no charge. We've had hundreds of people taking it in the last year, and it really gives a conversation sparker to team members. What I love about it is it does prompt that dialogue amongst team members where people go, wow, yeah, actually, I am really different. So we've got the connectors like Ned. Connectors, of course, on a team are always they're often the bridge builders. They're often the ones connecting the dots for the team. And in today's evolving workspace, that connector is really important for, helping the team keep moving, helping the team look outside of itself sometime, helping the team access resources. And so as a connector, how are we helping them activate? How are we helping them really grow and contribute in the coaching conversation? So again, the hybrid work styles quiz is a quiz for hybrid teams, or really teams in any workspace, in any flex workspace right now. It's not just hybrid. But why I chose it as hybrid is because our sort of our styles get magnified in this space. And so I find it really fascinating how in many countries, including here in Canada, teams are really struggling because they're not quite back together yet. And again, as we move into another winter, who knows what's going to be happening, if people will go all remote or people will be back in the office. And we need to harness everyone's capability. So part of coaching, team coaching especially, is helping our team members boost that awareness, right? They want to boost the awareness collectively, but part of that may also involve boosting the awareness individually, especially if you're in a hybrid workspace. Because what happens in the hybrid, right? I might actually be working more with myself and by myself on a regular basis, and having to get much more proficient, as we've seen in the last few years, at letting people know, hey, I'm a strategic picture person. I'll talk about myself, right? My team knows details, probably not, I'm not going to see them, right? Literally, this is where I don't like to term it, but where my vision impact really comes in. If there's a lot of text, a lot of density, I'm not going to see that quickly, but I will see the broad strokes. So I'm the visionary culture wizard, right? I'm a bit of and I think most of us have primary and secondary styles. I'm all about how are we going to do things here, but how are we also going to look ahead at what's next and what's going. And so when we think about working with teams, we really want to be giving them a language, a framework of how to operate. And this is why we now have, as part of our team coaching certificate pathway, call or session number 5, program number 5, which is coaching the diverse work styles, because it really does influence what we prioritize, how we see the world, what we might cause conflict with others, and so helping us gain that awareness. I haven't talked yet to our IEXP, which is Sam on the team. Sam is that person who is all about fusion. She is the innovative experimenter. And as an IEXP, these are the people on the team who are great in that, pioneering space. They may be the R&D arm of the team. They may be the ones who are really trying and putting things into action. And they need different types of support. They may need different types of coaching questions to get activated than, say, the builder who is Joe. And as we know, just like the checklist, we have those builders on a team that just want to get things done. They can come to coaching, sometimes be a little frustrated with the conversation because I just want to get it done. Do we really need to sit down for another meeting? Right? These are the things you're hearing. So as a coach, what do you want to be doing, need to be doing to really create that safe, connected space for this team to come together and really, again, activate all their amazing skills and talents so that they can do their best work, whether they are in person, back at the, in their work from anywhere space or in the hybrid space. So if you haven't taken the hybrid work styles quiz, definitely check it out, bit.ly/hybrid work quiz. And so that's great, right? These are our clients, and what about us, right? I think there has been a lot more focus, certainly in the coaching profession in recent years, around the ongoing development of the coach. And this is what brings us to what Kathy Vaughn and I have been talking a lot about in recent months, coaching supervision. You may also engage in this in mentor coaching, as we've been doing for years with our mentor coaching clients. And that very much is our superpowers. So take the quiz for your clients if you want the work styles, but think about you and your development as a coach, because that is something that we can really influence. We can work on it actively. We can percolate on it. And this is hopefully something that you're engaging with, whether you have been coaching for a few months or several decades. The ongoing development of the coach never ends. So this is, I'm proud to say, the Team and Group Coaching Superpower Quiz. You can access that at bit.ly/GT Coaching Superpower. Again, GT Coaching Superpower. And it's only going to take you 2 minutes. You can do this on your phone, really just, go through the questions, go with your gut. Don't overthink the questions. And then when you actually complete it, you're going to get a quick pop-up that says, you are a blank, and there'll be a short video. Now, it doesn't end there, and a lot of people don't see this other piece, but you'll get an email shortly after this quiz with a report. And in the report, you're going to be able to learn a lot more about you, how you prioritize things as a coach, where you might get stuck, because every superpower has a shadow side. When we lean too much into our superpowers, we can also create some challenges for ourselves. So I would love to challenge you today to really think about, what does the workspace of today need? Incredibly diverse, right? We're seeing people going for early retirement, then coming back to the workplace because of economic pressures. We're seeing not only millennials, but Gen Zs who are so different. And I say that as a parent of a Gen Z, right? I very much, we spent time on the weekend at a university fair, and it was so apparent how different my generation, Gen X, is from his generation. And then I sat down with a colleague of mine who's a boomer, and again, very different, like all different insights. So how do we help create these bridges across the distinctions in today's workspace? And as coaches, we start with ourselves. We start with what we can dial up and what we can dial back. And so as you engage in this quiz, you're going to actually meet the hybrid hive of coaches. These are not all full-time external coaches. As you're going to meet them, several of them actually have a role within organizations. So I'm going to be talking a lot more about these, obviously in our 5-week Activate Your Team and Group Coaching Superpower program, but also as we go in many of these calls. So an invitation to find out, are you a catalytic firecracker? Are you a spiral lighthouse coach? Are you really engaged in the catalytic tool master, which is me, really bringing tools and approaches? Are you more in the space of helping people get grounded in that grounded labyrinth space? Or are you all about connecting in the layers that Kathy mentioned earlier as an ecosystem connector? So my hope is you'll engage with this. I think, again, it warrants another call on the different styles. This is what we go into. What are the strengths? What are the superpowers? What can you dial up and dial back? And then in the activating program, we're also looking at building out your toolkit, because once again, there are going to be things that are well within our wheelhouse. There are going to be things within our stretch zone in the wheelhouse. So how do I, as a coach, for example, who is more the catalytic firecracker, how do I activate more of that ecosystem connector piece? How do I learn from my colleagues? How do I partner better with ecosystem connectors so that when we show up for team coaching, we're actually able to really bring dual perspectives, multiplicity, which is what has always been needed in this space of coaching many. So we'll be learning a lot more about the different styles. I think that's going to activate you in terms of thinking about your partnerships Again, best practice in team coaching at this moment in time is not about being a solo coach. It's about co-coaching. And so you'll also notice in our new fall curriculum, we have a new program that will launch in November called Co-Coaching Essentials. And it's going to build on to this Activate program. So we need to understand who we are as individuals, and then we can collaborate and partner much more effectively. So with that, I'm going to open it up. We've got a few minutes left. Kathy, Rita, you've heard me talk about this a little bit. You know, what are you fascinated by with this whole framework? Rita, what are you intrigued by?
I think like because I know what style I am, it'd be nice to, I guess, as I start to learn more about the coaching styles, to understand what makes the other styles unique. And then if I ever am in a co-coaching situation, having that knowledge in advance so that when we're in the planning stages, we can figure out what strengths to utilize and how we can kind of support our weaknesses and so on. That's where my brain's at right now, anyways.
Yeah, and I'm sure it is for a lot of you, right? I've had a few emails saying, when are you going to go into it? And I'd love to do that in these community calls, but this is really why I've put together the 5-week program, to go deeply into it. And Rita's been with me in the sort of the sister program, which of course is now called Coaching Diverse Teams Using Work Styles. And in that program, which is also another 5-week program, we've gone deeply into helping coaches understand what are the natural styles that are showing up in the teams that they work with. So are they that goes back to those first set of characters, the digital dozen. Are they an innovative experimenter? Are they the builder? And I have to say, what I think coaches really got the most out of was understanding the other styles, so that we have a style in a team, but you know, how do I adjust it? How do I build it up and build it back? And that's really where this whole body of work now of the superpowers came to be. I'm going to be building on this as well. So there's a new book that I'll be working on. I've actually started working on it this summer. I hope to finish it maybe next month, but it may go into 2023. But it's going to be a book incorporating this, as well as resources and tools and techniques for different coaches. Because again, as a coach trainer, I've really seen that we can approach our work so differently. You know, catalytic firecrackers, I think we've got on the team. G Labs, I love personally connecting and co-coaching with grounded labyrinth coaches. Ivana, who is one of our team members, I think probably has a very strong orientation towards grounded labyrinth. She does a lot of embodiment work, mindfulness work. And when we're approaching a team today, you know, we need that yin and yang. We need the groundedness as well as the firecracker. We need the ability to bring processes, but leave space, like the spiral lighthouse will give, to really create and activate the spaces for teams and groups to come together. We also need the ecosystem connectors, those people who naturally see the layers and can engage with that. The ones as well, like the connector in the hybrid work styles, be the bridge across differences. So Kathy, I know you've unmuted. Is there anything you want to share about what you're curious about or intrigued by with the superpowers?
Well, I think it's this part of like, just, you know, a lot of coaches are looking at like, what's my offer? And I feel that quiz offers an opportunity to really reflect on, what am I emphasizing? What might I be missing? And if we think about, you know, the derailers, to use that language, though I know that's not the language of the quiz, are there pieces that I'm not addressing in my pitch that I should be?
Yeah. And, you know, derailers and enablers shows up once again. If you've got Coaching Business Builder, that's where I first started using that languaging. So you're going to really see this as yet another piece of that evolution. And as Kathy said, how are we activating what we're good at, and how are we mitigating against the derailers? So in fact, another reason why you want to download that report that will come to you separately. Now, do not reply to the email report, because it's generated by the quiz system. If you have comments, you want to share your ideas, you're interested in learning more, here's what we're going to invite you to do. There is a link at the bottom of the video to book a 15-minute call, right? And so book that 15-minute call. It'll be in the report body of the email as well. It's all over the place. But let's talk about what you're noticing. And if you don't have 15 minutes to have a call, just send me an email, info@potentialsrealized.com, because I'm really, you know, I really feel that this is yet another sort of bridge / capstone of our work here at Potentials Realized. We've been doing this work for a long time, more than a decade and a half, with team and group coaches. So, again, looking at the experience of thousands of coaches now, it's very easy for me to see many of these. I wouldn't call it's not bucketing everyone by any means. And many of you know that's something I don't want to get into at all, but it really gives us some insights as to potential flavors and different things that we may want to dial up and dial back in service to our clients and the people that we work with. So with that, I hope that you will check it out. We've got lots of the lineup. You can check it out for Friday of this week. That is October the 6th, 10:15 to 11:30 a.m. and it'll run for 5 weeks. I'll be taking the first group through on that. There will be a one-day offering of this as well in the month of November. And this will become another part of our sort of 5-week cycle. So head on over to groupcoachingessentials.ca to find and get activated. Here's something I wanted to wrap up with. Again, running. So this is from Running Magazine. And they say in science, the activation energy required to start a reaction is always much larger than the energy required to sustain a reaction. And I think as we grow and mature as coaches, just a reminder that we can always hit these inflection points in our work. We sort of go along, and then things start feeling really hard. And, part of that is our growth edge. So I really want to invite you to check out the quiz as part of your growth edge. What can help, further your development as a coach? So take the group and team coaching superpower quiz, bit.ly, GT for group team coaching superpower. Again, GT coaching superpower at bit.ly. And I think that's it. Hope to see you. You can also check us out. So there's a great video with Valerie, who is one of our Reconnecting Workspaces certified coaches, who you can check out having a conversation with me about the hybrid work styles earlier this year. She's used it a lot in her organization and has found that it's been a great tool. And so she went through the course that I was talking about, the coaching the diverse team. So with that, I think that's it. Kathy, Rita, thanks for joining me today. And we are back next week to look at group coaching demo, and then the following week on Tuesday at 12 noon with Kathy and I to talk about team coaching. Any final comments, Kathy or Rita, before we wrap up?
Nothing specific.
All right, Kathy, over to you.
No, just hoping that people really check it out and dip their toe in the pool and come join us and swim.
Come join us and swim. All right. Well, with that, everyone, thanks for spending a bit of time with us. Please leave a comment on the email. Share this as well with your colleagues, right? Because part of team coaching mastery is about building a community around you. And we really hope that this is an important bridge in your development process. All right, everyone, be well and take care. We'll see you next Tuesday. Bye.